Well, good morning, and thanks for joining us here for our 8:30 stream show. I'm Mitch Carter. Hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving. Kicking things off here, a couple of headlines for you before we get over to Byron Douglas. Of course, folks worried right now, I'm sure, very curious about these alert days on the board. We'll get to Byron soon. But first, right now, thousands of folks across the tri-state getting out and braving those cold temps to score some deals. It's because today, of course, is Black Friday, and experts say it's expected to be a record breaker out there. Nearly 187 million people will hit the stores or shop online from Thanksgiving through Monday. And according to the National Retail Federation, that's an increase of 3 million from 2024. The top items on list this year include clothing, gift cards, and of course toys. Black Friday forecasted to be the top shopping day, followed of course by Cyber Monday. And speaking of all the cold out there, thousands of athletes braved the elements to kick off their Thanksgiving with some exercise. Check it out. Go! And they're off. Runners there trotting down several streets in downtown Evansville during yesterday's Turkey Day 5K. It's, of course, the 36th year for the event, and the goal there remains the same. Of course, have fun while raising money for Evansville's Goodwill and the many programs there they offer. And happening now, of course, we are past Thanksgiving now, so a longtime holiday tradition in Evansville is shining bright. Santa and his friends flipping the switch there at the Ritzy's Fantasy Lights display last night. Now, it's located there at Garvin Park. That drive-through features more than 90 animated light displays like flying reindeer, dancing bears, and a waving Santa. Vehicles can drive around to see all of them, and it's all for a good cause. All the money raised goes to Easter Seals Rehabilitation Center, helping out children and adults with disabilities all across the tri-state. Organizers say it's fun, though, to see families come back each and every year.
You know, what's really cool, seeing parents who were kids, who remember coming through as kids with their parents, now they're bringing their children. That's so great. I mean, it's just really warms my heart every year to see, especially the kiddos, and how excited they are.
The drive-through display is going to be open nightly through January 1st, with carriage rides also available nightly, weather permitting, of course, through December 31st. And finally here, later on tonight in Owensboro, sticking with our theme, Christmas at Panther Creek Park kicks off for the holiday season as well. Their driving tour takes you through more than 400,000 lights stretched out over a mile long. It's, of course, become a beloved tradition for many in Owensboro. Tickets there are just $5 a vehicle, and part of the proceeds will go to several nonprofit organizations. They, too, just like the Fantasy Lights at Ritzy's, runs nightly through January 1st. Right now, it's 8:33 here this morning on your Black Friday. I see a couple comments here, people reading in and tuning in. Drew, working all day today and tonight? No, sir. We got 11 o'clock here. Myself and Byron will be here for that, and of course the stream show as well. After that, we'll kick things over to Jamie French and the crew for our evening shows. For right now, though, as I mentioned, it's cold out there for your Friday, and we're looking ahead now to an alert day on Saturday and Tuesday. So we're going to bring in Byron Douglas off the bench here to wrap things up with the weather portion of your news show. For those joining us, though, we appreciate you. See you back here bright and early Monday morning.
News and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices.
All right, good morning. I'm meteorologist Byron Douglas on this Shopping Friday. Thanks for tuning in. We have an alert day on the board. I'll get to some of your comments in a moment. Maybe some of you are working today. Really heads up, if you're traveling north late tonight and then into Saturday, that's where the major impacts are. So we have the alert day on the board. Generally Saturday, but I think a lot of this is going to be some brief snow changing over to rain. What's a little unusual that we're going to see snow at the beginning, especially areas up to the north, and then it's going to change over to rain for a good chunk of the viewing area, and high temperatures are scheduled to be above freezing. So this is just a cautionary note, and then those northern counties, which we'll highlight in a moment, those advisories have gotten a little bit closer overall. So that's the latest there. We also have an additional alert day for Tuesday as we go into next week. That's December 2nd. And perhaps out in the 5th and 6th, next Friday and Saturday, another system's going to cycle on through, which I'll bring you up to date on that as well. But thanks for tuning us in here on this final Friday in November. Now, if you're traveling, if you're going to the Old Oaken Bucket for IU and Purdue, that starts this evening up at West Lafayette, 6:30. That's generally between Indianapolis and Chicago off of Interstate 65. I think you're fine, but if you're traveling back tonight or headed to the south, or if you're going to spend the night up in Lafayette or Indianapolis, these areas are looking at 2 to 5 inches of snow. A few inches of snow if you're headed over to St. Louis tonight and tomorrow. Chicago through northwest Indiana, Valpo, LaPorte, Portage up to Gary, they could see anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of snow. Areas there in pink, that's a winter storm warning. Does not, I'm going to tighten this up just a bit, doesn't include any of our counties across the viewing area, but as we talked on 14 News Sunrise, those Illinois counties up to the north and north of Interstate 64, right up to about the Wayne County line, there's a winter weather advisory. So if you're out tomorrow heading over to St. Louis, allow a little extra time because you're going to be right on that snow line. And then Terre Haute, Indianapolis, some areas there in northern Indiana, that's a winter storm watch. Let's check out at the airport. I'll grab this full again. Appreciate you tuning in. Whoops, I'm going to take that back just for a second. I'm going to go back to my, I'm going to go back to my camera position there. There we go. There we go. I can take that full. All right. That's e-weather if you're scoring at home. A green jet indicates no weather delays there. Let's go forward out through Chicago, Detroit. O'Hare is at 24, but if you have flight connections there tomorrow, I would expect some delays, perhaps definitely some delays and cancellations. They're going to be under a winter storm warning, and that's going to start early in the morning. Atlanta's at 39. Dallas-Fort Worth is at 50. Charlotte is at 60. So if you're headed to flying or you have a gate out of Chicago tomorrow, even Detroit, Springfield, Illinois, and anywhere there in Iowa, expect some delays or perhaps some cancellations. Nothing like that for today. Nothing on Doppler. We'll white it out just a bit. They have a few flurries up through Fort Wayne, northern stretches of Indiana, and then some returns there through north there of Kansas City, up back through Omaha, Nebraska. So there's just a wide view. And areas up in northern Michigan had nearly a foot of snow yesterday. Temps are in the 20s. This is the coldest air we've had in play for a while. And we've had wind chills in the teens. And let's take you through the next 12 hours. All right, there we'll take that full. Look at some of the folks that have tuned in. Drew, good morning to you. Yep, working all day. I'll be off to watch some football later. And winter weather advisory, that is, Drew, that's a good question for some of our northern counties. That would be possible tomorrow, especially Wayne, Edwards, and Wabash would come to mind. I'll give you some of my thoughts behind that in a moment. Lauren, thanks for tuning in. All right, let's get to the forecast for today. No issues. Head down to the circus, get some shopping in, less breezy. It's been a while since we've had 2 sunny days in a row, but we're looking at temperatures in the upper 30s. Tonight, we'll cloud up, a few stars out there early, and then we'll cloud up, and those clouds will lower throughout the day. Tomorrow, there's the alert day. Now, temps between 35 and 40. Some folks have said, well, how can you have an alert day where it's going to be above freezing? We do have some snowfall rates that could pile up on the grassy surfaces, and you can get some slush there in those areas up to the north, could mix in a little snow. But a burst of snow then changing over to rain. And you'll see that on our hour by hour or on our 14 First Alert weather app. So here is the latest timeline. We'll take you through Friday into tonight. And then as we go into Saturday, of course, this is in the pre-dawn hours. So Saturday, I think we're fine very early. If you're working tomorrow, if you're out running your errands early in the day, start to see some spotty snow returns. Now, if you headed over to St. Louis, you're going to run into that winter weather advisory. And then we start to see some snow, kind of a slushy type of snow, which would melt on contact. I'm using the colored tables here. But then a lot of this would have a tendency to melt on contact. So kind of dividing here along the Ohio River into western Kentucky. But it's all going to be dependent on the temperatures and the dew points there overall. And then it kicks out as we go into Saturday night. And then on Sunday, going to have some spotty snow showers early in the day. And we'll take a look here. I'm going to show you some of the in-house guidance here in a moment. Now this is rain. I'm going to show you this first on Saturday into Sunday. 2800s rain. The only county that's showing some snow is up through northern stretches there of Wayne County, Illinois, north of Fairfield. So not much here in the way of rain. But I also wanted to show you the snowfall component. So you see some snow rates up towards Fairfield. And then earlier we were showing this up through Mount Carmel. Some of this melts on the way down. Now Evansville showing 1.3. This would be on grassy surfaces, and by the time it falls and melts on the way down, I think it'd be well less than an inch, but Jasper and Huntingburg, these areas up to the north. So these counties north of Interstate 64, Wayne County, Edwards, and then into Wabash, western Gibson, up towards Vincennes. Then if you go into Terre Haute and points to the north, you're going to bump into that winter storm watch. And then along the Ohio River into western Kentucky, no snow at all. And the air and ground temperatures where it would be kind of a slushy type of snow. Now I wanted to show you the HRRR model. It's really not showing anything as far as snow is concerned. However, Wayne County, Illinois, just a little bit, a half inch or less. So we'll see how it plays out. And we'll see how this system behaves overall. I've been doing this long enough. Tomorrow morning, some of those northern counties, you could be added to an advisory. There might be a county or two or three that surprises just a bit, as far as having maybe just a little bit more up in those areas. But for the most part, I think we'll get through the alert day all right, especially if you're traveling along the Ohio River and then into western Kentucky. Tuesday, we have an alert day. It's not tied to any snow totals as of yet, but we are showing here the GFS, and I'll also show you the European models. They're mid-range models, showing some snow. Of course, that rain line has creeped up a little bit in the last 24 hours. And some snow through the morning and then points down to the south. So we have a burst of snow potentially on Tuesday where we can see several inches, and then it kicks out. All right, then I'll show you the European model as we go into Tuesday in the pre-dawn hours. Some heavier bands of snow up through the same areas, St. Louis to Chicago. Probably would be the best setup for any potential winter weather advisories, how it plays out. And then it cycles through our area where we could see a little snow on Tuesday morning. However, if some areas up through Chicago and Des Moines get a foot of snow, this low could stay well to our south, and Tuesday we might just have a few flurries, and that would be about it. But the alert day is more for a heads up, and we make some adjustments. We had an alert day earlier in November that we dropped ahead of schedule. So as we go into Saturday, this would be the 5th and 6th of December. Another system cycles on through. So they're just lined up here where we have some rain and snow potential, but that's more than a week away. So we haven't added an alert day for that as of yet. So Saturday more for potential for some slick spots, especially areas north of Interstate 64. But here in the metro area, if we get some slushy snow up to a half, up to 1 inch, that would be on the high end. But the air and ground temperatures are above freezing, so a lot of this will melt off. Tuesday, there's the alert day, a 60% chance of snow. I haven't changed the probability. Some of the guidance is not showing hardly anything at all. It depends on the snow and the system number 1 that cycles through up to the north and how that secondary low is going to behave, or the one that develops to our south and then cycles to our south as we go into next week. So I'll take this full here and look at a few comments and let you just absorb that so I can get out of the way. 38 Wednesday, 35 on Thursday. Now the next 7 days, all of them are cycled to be below normal. Right now, Zach, good question. Right now it's setting up that we would see we'll have Once the first system clears, as we go into, that's a good question. Once the first system clears over the weekend, Tuesday right now, there's enough cold air in play that's showing mainly some snow. But that snow line's creeping a little farther north into western Kentucky, but it hasn't even developed yet. So that would be Tuesday of next week. It's more of like, if you plan, we like to say with these alert dates, when we know something, we don't leave it in our pocket, we let you know, or I'll let you know in a couple of days, or as we get closer to the event. It's there for you, and we made some adjustments. I added an alert day in early November, and we dropped it. For the severe weather threats moved to the south, we didn't even hesitate. We dropped it well ahead of schedule. Lauren, Leanne, thanks for tuning in. Cheryl as well. Monday afternoon through Tuesday, Drew, that is possible that we could see a winter weather advisory. We just have to see how this first system overall behaves. But if you're headed to northwest Indiana in Chicago, you guys are looking at 6 to 12 inches of snow right up along some lake effect snows there with this first system. We're kind of on the outside of this one, but we're on the warm side of it as well. However, most of our systems don't start out as snow. This would be where we see a little snow first and then it changes over to rain. There's some reasons for that. The jet stream to our south was going to bring some warmer air in here and hopefully melt everything off. So we'll have to monitor, especially Saturday afternoon into Saturday night, and we'll see how things behave. Michael Fecka is going to have more coming up later on our streaming at 2:30, then at 4, 5, 6, and 10. And we have new data to work with virtually each hour. Thanks for tuning in on a Friday. Be safe. We'll have more soon. There's a look at those alert days. And then 1 week from today, we could even see some more alert timing, but that's a ways away as of yet. We'll talk to you soon. Enjoy your Friday. Have a super weekend.